It's 8:37. We are starting our road trip to Spokane and then eventually Calgary? Yeah? I'm forgetting.
No!
What? I think we've got like 5 hours ahead of us. We're going to be on Highway 2 through the mountains. There's a lot of road stops, Rachel. Okay.
What was the question?
We're at a petrol station right now. Yeah, we're having struggles. I don't know what the town's called. There's an armory. Oh, it's called Skykomish, I think. Yeah, we're just filling up with petrol. The route took us way off the main highway, so this is just a temporary stop. But it's going to be a long drive, some road attractions. Some of us are already sleeping. So the filling up is taking a while. So we're going to take a step out. There's a very large Coca-Cola truck there. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it speaks for itself.
Yeah, okay. We're going to have a look in this AM PM. Oh, alright, no, we don't have time, we're going.
After a day in Seattle, it was time to hit the road. With our time in America coming to an end, we set off to the inland states for our grand sightseeing finale before returning to the Great White North. Across 518 miles of American asphalt, we'd experience every natural wonder of the Pacific Northwest, along with a handful of quirky roadside attractions and a brand new city to top it all off. Having initiated our inexplicably massive hire car days prior, we were well equipped to take on such a meaty journey. So as we said goodbye to our short-lived but reliable hotel in northern Seattle, we geared up for one of the longest journeys of the trip. But first, we turned to the sat-nav to lay out the route. America is a land of many roads, and picking the right one was pivotal for creating the best possible road trip. For the first leg of the journey, we were traveling from Alderwood, Seattle to Spokane, the Lilac City. This left us with two possible routes. Either we went down the boring, soulless 6-lane Interstate 90, which pathetically meandered around the mountains before limping back round to our destination, or we could take the far superior, far more cultured 2-lane US Route 2, which courageously took the mountains head-on like a proper highway before passing straight through the 7 wonders of the road and gently tucking us into our hotel. So, obviously, we took US Route 2, a road that would take us across 3 states, 4 climates, and several mountain ranges. And before long, we were cruising through the Cascades with our first stops just around the corner, and a whole roster of places to discover in the miles to come.
Take the highway.
There's a sign that says "Welcome to the Cascades."
Our first stop came in the form of Espresso Chalet, a lonely gift shop on milepost 36 that marked the border of Bigfoot country. Although small, this opening attraction was brimming with character and featured a 14-foot tall statue from the movie Harry and the Hendersons. Just look at that face.
We've reached our first stop, our first road stop. We've been driving for like half an hour, 40 minutes. Espresso Chalet. Lots of Bigfoot themed stuff. There's an observation deck as well. Bigfoot cookies. It's pretty cool. So it looks like the whole shop is outside. We've got these signs, they've got all the hoodies and waterproof bags. A map of the Cascade Mountains that we're about to go through. Classic security camera. Lots of Bigfoot things. I think that's generally what these mountains are known for. Or at least part of them. And this is what I saw on Google Maps. Nice big sign. Gotta say, these are some classy facilities, from the hole in the floor toilets to the makeshift clothes covers. It's cool though, very unique. Look at this range. we've got the last Bigfoot cookie. The rain's coming down really hard now as well, so good thing there's a little shelter here. Got our ice lollies, and we've got our Bigfoot cookie. It's massive, but yeah, I think this will set us for a couple hours.
Having acquired our Sasquatchy snack, we continued deeper into the mountains.
I've taken over the front seat.
July.
13 miles down the road, we came to stop number 2, the sleepy town of Skykomish. Named after the Native American word meaning inland people, Skykomish was constructed as a railroad town for the newly built Great Northern Railway, with help from the soon-to-be chief engineer of the Panama Canal, John F. Stevens. But today, it's only really known for its museum and one of the stops on our silly little road trip.
Okay, it's been like 10 minutes. We've reached the town of Skykomish. I don't know if that's the right pronunciation, but yeah, this is just only a short stop just to look at the view and explore. It's a really small town. There's like a miniature railway here. That's cool.
Winding through the heart of the Cascades, we passed by peak after majestic peak. As lowland English people, the splendour of these mountain ranges never failed to drop jaws, and the distinct lack of traffic was also really impressive. So with an hour until our next stop, we sat back and took in the sights. Arriving at our third stop, we were taken by surprise. Leavenworth is a town characterised by its unconventional German architecture, which came from a 1960s ploy to attract tourists. But what we weren't expecting was the $6 million adventure park featuring a 2,700-foot long roller coaster as soon as we arrived. Clearly the ploy worked.
We've reached yet another stop. This is a curious little town in these mountains. It's in 1960s, it went over a big transformation to change its theme to Bavarian, which is why the buildings are nice and Alpy, and there's German everywhere, which is such a cool European tinge. So this town is called Leavenworth. In the 1960s, they transformed it into a Bavarian-style town. There's a lot of German, there's a lot of European style things, such as this alpine coaster. So we're doing that later. They say the earliest we can do it is like 11:45, which is in about half an hour. I've never done one of these before. It looks very exciting. So I think we're gonna have a lot of fun with that. I must say, this is a fantastic town. Rachel, what are your thoughts on this town? We haven't actually seen most of it yet.
Yeah, we've not actually seen the town, but this was actually quite I don't know if Josh said already, but this is a very impulsive decision. We sort of drove past it. None of us knew it was here. It's really weird because when you Google the town, this doesn't even really come up.
Yeah, we were planning to stop at this town anyway, but like we turned the corner from the main road and we saw instantly this roller coaster. And we're like, yeah, we got to do this. We were planning, $20 each. We were planning on doing there's like all the other stuff in town, like there's a Nutcracker museum and other things. So I think we'll do that now while we're waiting, and then we'll come back and do the roller coaster. I don't know if I'm allowed to take my phone on, but hopefully I can grip onto it as I'm going down. If I lose it, then oh well. Okay, so yeah, we found out why we didn't hear about this place before. It literally opened like 3 months ago, so it's brand new, which means there's room for accidents. That's fun. I think we'll have a good time on this one though. You can brake anyway, so you don't have to go full speed, which is cool. Apparently it's the first alpine coaster in Washington, which is a pretty unique bragging point.
So using the money from our cancelled cruise excursion, we took to the rails for some mountainside thrills on the Tumwater Twister.
Here we go on the alpine coaster. Who's excited? So I'm pretty sure we're not allowed to take our phones on. I'm going to put it in a secure pocket. If I'm wrong, I'll try to do some filming. But otherwise we're going to have to come up with some amazing description to tell the camera what it was like. This is the best I'm gonna get. Now it's gonna go under me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's like a lot
You have to hold it down. Oh, there you go. Go ahead and buckle. Thank you. Come down, sir.
So we did it. That was really crazy. Man, yeah, there were brakes. We all said that we weren't gonna brake. Then we all did, because the turns, they feel like you're gonna fall off. So yeah, no, definitely worth $20. I'd say we got our money's worth. It's really high as well. This doesn't even, it goes up way further than that as well.
I know, it was so, yeah, it's really big.
Yeah, we weren't allowed to film up the thing. I got one video as previously shown. But yeah, I definitely recommend this if you're ever in Leavenworth, I think is what this town's called. I don't know what I think we're just gonna keep driving now because we're sort of off schedule. Definitely recommend.
Departing the adventure park, we travelled through downtown Leavenworth, gazing at the wide variety of Bavarian-themed shops and restaurants as we went, before stopping for lunch at Dan's Food Mart.
It's like being back in Europe. All right, we're going into Dan's Food Mart. Let's see how European it is inside. Not very. See anything German? Got dairy milk.
After stocking up on food from Dan's frankly astounding range of sandwich options, it was time to bid farewell to Leavenworth and the Cascades as we entered the Columbia Basin, where the land turned from rich and moist to dry and dusty.
Okay, yes, another stop. I'm losing count. We're in country that looks more like a desert now. I think we're on the other side of the mountains. Keep forgetting the names of things today. We're in a town called Cashmere, I think. That's probably wrong. I think they're known for having a famous sweet company, which is nice. We're probably not going to go to their factory because we've stopped here for a 9/11 memorial, but only briefly, and also I'm going to use the toilet. I've been trying to delete some photos because my camera keeps acting up. I can't even see it right now. I might have just done it. It keeps juttering when I'm using the super steady mode. Thank you, Samsung. So yeah, I'm gonna just try and fix that so that I can do more generic car shots. Well, that was lovely. We've stopped. We've only been driving for like another 5 or 10 minutes from our previous stop. We had lunch just now. We only stopped here because we saw the sign. It was more of an impulse thing, but lunch was very nice. They are very generous with meat and filling at this particular deli that we went to. So pleased with that, great value.
Being one of the shorter stops, there wasn't much to say about Cashmere from our perspective, but according to the town's website, Cashmere is the geographical centre of Washington State and the birthplace of apparently internationally famous applets and cotlets candy. Unfortunately, we saw none of this because of our increasingly strict schedule, but I hope to revisit the town one day for the full Cashmere experience. Back on the road once again, we welcomed the change of scenery. After raining literally all day, it was nice to be out of the clouds and into the sunlight. We'd also seen quite a few mountain ranges at this point in the trip, so this brand new yellowy landscape was exciting.
You boys ever met a real country girl?
Almost 4 hours into the journey, our music playlist ran dry. As it turns out, there's only so much Taylor Swift to torture me with, so we began to look through the long list of radio stations at our disposal. And what better station for this rural stretch of land than country radio, where we discovered the politically questionable country legend Jason Aldean and his groovy hit single, She's Country, during which we suddenly felt the urge to hit the gas.
She's all country. From her cowboy boots to her down home roots, she's the prayer she prays. That's the way she was born and raised. She ain't afraid to stay country. Brother, she's country.
Well then, we've reached our final stop, perhaps, before Spokane. And my word, this is a grand finale. Am I right, Rachel?
You're so right, Joshua.
Amazing. Let's see, facts. This used to be a waterfall, it's speculated. That's about 10 times the size of Niagara Falls. It's quite scary. The drop here is relatively sheer. We've been driving for a while, since the German town. I've lost track of time a little bit. We're all tired. A couple of us are sick. It's been a weary sort of journey, but we're close, relatively speaking. We're closer than we started, so that's something. I think it's worth mentioning that we're still in Washington, and it's a far cry from the original pine-covered mountains and rainy rest stops that we were visiting before. It's basically like a mini Grand Canyon, and it's, yeah, underrated, I would say, because I've never seen this place before this trip. So we've gone to the overhang. I don't like this
Josh
at
is
all.
crying.
One of the lovely features of this stop is that there are brick sort of fences and barriers to make sure you know where the edge is. But the thing is, they don't continue past this point, so you got to be sort of careful. I heard some buzzing in the bushes as well a minute ago. I don't know what that was.
Dry Falls was the epitome of a great road stop, an unbelievably scenic vista in the middle of nowhere that we had no idea about until 10 minutes before we arrived. It was easily one of the most interesting stops of the day, and after about 80 miles of pure flatness, it was thrilling to see some actual verticality. But being the last stop before Spokane, we wasted no time in getting back on the road for one last push to the end of leg 1.
Cadillac, Cadillac, long and dark, shining black. Open up, them engines let 'em roar, tearing up the highway like a big old dinosaur.
Nine hours after leaving Seattle, we'd finally reached the great city of Spokane, also known as Hooptown, USA for its record-breaking annual basketball tournament, or the Lilac City for its abundance of lilac bushes. The town is also the official birthplace of Father's Day after one of its residents decided to create it. After checking into our hotel for the night, we proceeded into the town centre where we came across Spokane Falls, the largest urban waterfall in the United States. Together we took the cable car over the river and looked in awe of the falling water, reflecting on a day of road tripping. Throughout our 281-mile journey, we'd stopped at 5 roadside attractions ranging from picturesque small towns to obscure natural monuments. So far, Highway 2 had proven to be the right choice, being quite literally the scenic route, and there was still an entire day of driving ahead of us. Disembarking the cable car, my cold suddenly decided to get 10 times worse, so unfortunately our tour of Spokane was cut short. But returning to our steam plant themed hotel allowed us to map out the route for leg 2. Unlike leg 1, where we had plenty of time to stop and take in the sights, leg 2 was set to be a full day of pure unadulterated driving, with just a few short stops scattered throughout. Starting out the day on Old Faithful Highway 2, we'd make our way across the Idaho Panhandle before branching off in Montana towards the border. And once we were back in Canada, it was just a matter of booking it to Calgary before sunset. So off to bed we went, with a big day of travelling ahead. Arising from our slumber at 7 AM sharp, it was time for us to start leg 2. The Steam Plant Hotel provided a much needed rest for us weary travellers. Its industrial theme made it one of the most memorable accommodations from the trip, and its included breakfast gave us all the fuel we needed for the last leg of the journey, apart from the actual fuel that we needed for the car. With no time to lose, we cranked up the country tunes and got back on the road for another 8 hours of driving.
Get off this two-lane highway. It's going my way, moving fast. Two-lane highway. It's taking me home, home at last.
Less than an hour into the drive, we added another new state to our list, Idaho, the gem state. The lakes and forest of the Panhandle were most impressive and made for an invigorating start to the day. But as we neared the Montana border, we entered the town of Bonner's Ferry, whose entry sign was more concerning than anything else. So after a quick stop at the local Safeway, we continued towards the second new state of the day, where our first proper stop waited for us. Soon after leaving Idaho, we found ourselves in Kootenai National Forest, where by absolute chance we found our first attraction of the day, Kootenai Falls Suspension Bridge. At an elevation of 2,100 feet, this swinging river crossing was once used as a point of access for extinguishing forest fires, but after being destroyed and rebuilt in the late 40s, it became a delightful little attraction with an exceptional waterfall alongside. At this point in the trip, I'd apparently forgotten how to talk to the camera, but we very much enjoyed this stop, and after a short hike, we were back in the car for the last stretch of road before the Canadian border. For lunch, we stopped at a small town called Eureka. For some reason, I didn't film anything here apart from this tap in the restaurant bathrooms, which I thought was really cool. Originally named Deweyville, this town was once known as the Christmas tree capital of the world for its distribution of evergreen trees, but apart from that, it was fairly unremarkable. We ate at a very nice local restaurant called Front Porch, which offered lovely local dishes such as huckleberry ice cream burgers. I went for something a bit more standard than that, but I'm sure it could be nice. Reaching the Canadian border, it was time to leave the US for the last time this trip. It had been an exceptional visit to the 50 states, and we'd seen a whole new range of places. Not a single state went by without some kind of unbelievable natural wonder, and I hope to return one day to give them the justice they deserve. But for now, we said our dearest goodbyes to the USA and continued into the land of maple syrup, where we were immediately greeted by a friendly herd of deer and even more mountains. One hour after entering Canada, we came to our destination province and its excellent welcome sign. Breathing in the sweet Alberta air, we looked ahead to the final stretch of the road trip. This was our last non-petrol station stop before our destination, and with just under 250 kilometers to go, we could practically smell the ranches and rodeos of Calgary. So with our legs stretched and our photos taken, we buckled up for the final 2 hours of driving as we raced the sun to Stampede City. Quietly arriving in the southern suburbs of Calgary, we stepped out of our tired hire car to find that we had arrived at our destination. After 13 hours and 750 miles of driving, we had finally made it to Point B. Our road trip through the northwestern USA and beyond had come to an end, and it was everything we imagined it to be. 10 superb road stops ranging dramatically in wackiness, spectacular views throughout the entire journey, and basically no traffic, and we couldn't have chosen a better vehicle to drag us across each and every mile. Though our time on the road wasn't quite finished yet, this trip had cemented itself as an all-time great among our fairly limited collection, and we will always remember the big feet of the Cascades, the pseudo-German citizens of Leavenworth, and the craggy terrain of Dry Falls, along with many more. But with no more miles left to travel, it was finally time to sit back and relax as we settled into Canadian life with two very good boys and a newfound love for country music.